college in Wilmington, Delaware. That became a new option, more for privatized people or certain types of people, as you know, opposed to going to the seemingly expensive University of Delaware. Interestingly, in retrospect, if you're an in-state student, going to the University of Delaware wasn't that expensive when I went to school. Out of state would have been more, but you know. So headed east here, still on Spruce. We just passed, I think, 8th Street, so we're probably on the 700 block. And so I had a bike accident down here that sent me to the ER. Actually, it was on Pine Street, that's right. So I'm confused because the bike lane's on the wrong side. So on Pine Street, with cars going east, the bike lane would be on the right-hand side normally, but they had to flip everything. This is Spruce Street, and they flipped everything, and the bike lane is on the left. That's why it looks like Pine Street here instead of Spruce. So say an entire city would switch things up just to confuse people who look in, who could see in even from other countries and somehow spy-ish, and they would think this was Pine Street, not Spruce. This is actually Spruce because they flipped the bike lanes and the parking lanes, and everything swapped. So Spruce Street houses, Greek Revival buildings at 700 to 714 Spruce. Philadelphia, the word Philadelphia is actually Greek. And it actually means city of brotherly love. That's Philadelphia. So Delphi murders I thought of because you can write the word Philadelphia around Delphi, and brotherly love. So was the cause of the Delphi murders brotherly love? And what does that mean? What does it mean? Is that a special group? And why did they have the trial during the election? Day and night, you know, weekends and on holidays. Over the election day and everything. Why'd they do that? Someone had something to say, or I don't know. There's got to be more to that. So, anyway, here we are. Independence Mall, or I'm sorry, Washington Square is over there, but Independence, that's part of Independence Place condos or apartments. And that's 6th Street down here. They have the North and South Tower. I don't know if they call them 1 and 2 or North and South. I thought it was North and South. So like the South one would be this one here. They are kind of neat. I've been in there, and they have a certain vibe, and it is kind of a cool, it feels like modern-ish. It's hard to explain. It's almost Florida. Like, you know how you go to different places and you can feel quite differently wherever you go. Those, you know, those stand out as a very different, actually, big time Florida. Those, Hopkinson House. Oh, this guy. Oh, to get that more. So I think I used to walk it was on 4th Street, I think, where I walked a dog from a similar home, and a very large, almost like St. Bernard or similar. So seems to be large dog day, I guess. But the Hopkinson house, the white one, absolutely feels like Florida inside. So around Washington Square, there's a different vibe all over the place. I even walked Chase Utley and Jennifer Utley's dog, Jack, and took care of their cat Sam, and they lived in the Ayer building, which is 210 Washington Square. They had a good friend named Mira live in, and she back then lived in the St. James, which is next door, a huge high-rise. You can't see it from here, but if that building right there, you'd be able to see it. That's on 8th and Walnut. There's a Starbucks at the bottom of that building. In fact, in the St. James, a couple things went on. One, I didn't realize it, but I was in the lobby with Miley Cyrus while Miley Cyrus was there with Liam Hemsworth, because he was doing Paranoid Productions back then. I don't know what his project was, but Paranoid or Paranoia Productions. I would go to the St. James and start to get on the elevator, and I was like, oh, do you need to go first? Because they were in front of me. I didn't recognize anyone. She's from a different time period, so I'm older and missed I didn't know what she looked like back then. I kind of remember Hannah Montana, and she didn't look like that because her hair was blonde. She's like, no, that's okay. I get on the elevator, and a guy who must be a radio show host, he's like, oh, she's not getting on because she heard me talk smack about her this morning on the radio. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't know who this guy was. I don't even listen to the radio. It's too low sorry to say, it's too low frequency for me, so it'll hurt me. It's hard to, the reason people get hurt by certain things is because they are in a different realm. I would say evolved, but then I feel sorry for people who listen to the radio because it might help them. But in my case, I can't listen to it, I'll get depressed. So it's hard to explain. I'm on a different channel, I guess, altogether. So, and people are on channels. So anyway, who's controlling people's universes is basically it. So anyway, all right, is this old dog walker from, hey, the Hard of Hearing, hey. Hi, how are you? So I think, wow, it's been ages. I think she's the Hard of Hearing dog walker from a long time ago. Anyway, so that was in the St. James. I think I ran into Miley Cyrus, maybe. By the way, I love her, and I love, you know, Nothing Breaks Like a Heart. So it's easy for me to sort of like hear her music and sing it, like sing along per se. And she's for the ladies, the women. So you gotta hand it to her. And she's Memphis, right? Not Nashville. So Memphis, Tennessee. Love Dolly Parton too, and they're all Tennesseans or whatever. Also in there, potentially Beau Biden. This came to me, like, people in the St. James talked a lot about who was living there. They're very like gossipy that way. And I was, you know, checking in on someone's cat, dogs. There were a couple people I checked in on, and the word was that Beau Biden had a place in the St. James. Certainly Ashley Biden did live in Rittenhouse Square. So Ashley Biden lived in Rittenhouse Square for a while, on Locust, west of the square in the Carlisle, when Joe Biden was vice president and Obama was president. Joe Biden came in and took Ashley, Joe and Jill came in and took Ashley to brunch at Park Rittenhouse. And I happened to walk by the entourage, and that's what was going on. And I even asked, I was like, what's going on? Is there something major going on? They're like, oh, Joe came in to take Ashley. That's what they said. So that's the word. Some people still think she takes up residence in Pennsylvania. She went to UPenn, University of Pennsylvania. That's why it's believable. So, and of course, Delaware is not too far away. It's a hop, skip, and a jump just to jump down to Delaware. And UPenn is considered Ivy League and a Quaker school. So anyway, also, so Mira, the radio guy, Miley Cyrus, Beau Biden. Also, in the St. James, it housed a whole bunch of people who bought condos in the Marano. So the Marano is all the way up at, 21st and Market. And a lot of people bought condos from the Marano on auction. So there was the housing bubble, some sort of crisis, this, that, and the other. Tons of people got condos for really cheap in the Marano. And while they were waiting for the building to be finished, they wound up in the St. James. So